Education. Councillor Timothy Nast, Executive Mayor of the Midvaal Municipality. Her Majesty the Queen Mother of the Royal Bafokeng. Mr. David Wild, members of the board, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, to you, our friends who have travelled from the United States and from all over South Africa to be with us. A special word of welcome to you, our graduates, the class of 2011, their parents and families who've travelled from all over South Africa to get here. Welcome. To my colleagues, the teachers, support staff, and all the folk at the school, welcome and thank you for helping us to lead the girls to this special day. Thank you all for a job well done. And finally, to our founder and benefactor, Ms. Oprah Winfrey, welcome back. Without you, we would not be celebrating today. In January 2007, Madiba was invited to the opening of the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. The audience admired the state-of-art classrooms, the beautiful residences, the magnificent facilities, which had been built to fulfill Oprah Winfrey's dream of providing the best for her generation of young women. In this theatre were international and South Africa guests, newly appointed staff, and 150 young girls chosen by Oprah and identified as having the it factor. After the grand opening, the challenge to those on the campus was to build a school. Building a school is about growing people, about growing a community of learners, both adults and children. Building a school is hard work, requiring guts and determination. Building a school is a challenging, slow, and difficult process. Like any other institution, this school has faced its share of challenges, but this community has never given up or given in, always moving slowly forward. And today, just 5 years after that opening, we gather to celebrate the success of the first graduating class. As you all know, the class of 2011 had a 100% pass rate, 188 distinctions, and each one of these girls has been accepted into a university or college in the United States or South Africa. But what is even more phenomenal is that 60% of our candidates achieved an average of over 75% in 7 subjects. Twenty of the group achieved an average of 80% or more and will be receiving gold certificates later in this ceremony. The school's average for English first language was a staggering 71.2%. Such statistics reflect the high-quality teaching and learning that takes place on this campus. The class of 2011 have been schooled at the Academy for 5 years. The school chooses girls from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, but who demonstrate leadership and academic potential. Despite difficult, often traumatic circumstances, these girls refuse to be victims. They show resilience and guts in the face of adversity. The Academy's support of the girls, academic, emotional and social, is all-encompassing and ongoing. What these results do demonstrate is that with dedicated staff, committed and determined learners, and adequate time on task, any educational disadvantage can be overcome. No time is too late. The tragedy is that there are hundreds and thousands of girls in South Africa who have the same potential, but who have not had access to these amazing opportunities. Oprah Winfrey believed in the human potential and future of South Africa. She has invested hugely, financially and personally, in her dream of growing a new generation of women leaders. The Academy, our community, and indeed South Africa, owes you a huge debt of gratitude. Oprah, we salute you. Oprah, we salute you and thank you for giving all the girls at this school the chance to break the cycle of poverty, to fly. Your vision, your compassion, your generosity has made all this possible. Thank you for continuing to believe in the human potential of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to this very special occasion, but especially a very special welcome to our founding class. Welcome, one and all. I would now like to ask Ms. Oprah Winfrey to come forward to address you.
Can I say, yay! This is a day of triumph. It's a day of extraordinary victory for girls who are the first in their generation in South Africa to be born free. They are born free. The year apartheid ended and Nelson Mandela was elected president of this country, these girls were born into a nation that said, you are free. You are free to rise, you are free to soar, you are free to be all that you ever could imagine. All that your ancestors believed, all that your ancestors prayed, hoped for, dreamed and desired. That is what you can be. And that is what these girls have become at this school. It's a day of victory. I live 8,600 miles from here. That's 13,987 kilometers, if I'm accurate. 13,000 kilometers is a long distance no matter what you're trying to do. And it certainly is a long distance if what you're trying to do requires a commitment of the heart. So there were many days during these past 5 years where I awakened in Chicago or hadn't slept in Chicago and asked myself, what were you thinking? What were you thinking you could build a school? No infrastructure, no structure. 8,000 miles away. What were you thinking that you could take girls from townships and villages and flats and suburbs and rural areas, and put them all under one roof with the expectation that you will not only succeed, but you will excel, because there is no bar for you, because you are born free. What were you thinking? I was thinking about this day. Not only was I thinking about this day, I was thinking about this day with them walking in triumph across this stage in their white dresses. I'd been thinking from the beginning of my first conversation about building a school, which occurred in Kunu when Stedman and I had the great honor of spending 10 days and nights at the home of Madiba and Graça Michel. At first, I was so anxious and worried about, oh my God, what am I gonna say? I don't know what I'm gonna say in 10 days, I don't know. And Stedman said, why don't you try listening? That worked. So as I became more and more comfortable sitting with Madiba, I remember one afternoon we were sitting in the living room and he and I were having tea and sharing the newspaper and having a conversation about South Africa and his worries about South Africa, his concern about the overwhelming poverty and how to begin to defeat it. And Madiba said that he believed the only way to defeat poverty was through education. And of course I agreed with him, because I was in his living room having tea. Who's going to disagree with Madiba in his own living room? I agreed with him and said, yes, one day, not only do I believe that education is the beginning of the end of poverty, but that I believe that educating girls is the route to begin to change the world, because when you educate a girl, you change her family, you change her community. And Madiba agreed with me. And then I said, you know, Madiba, one day I'd like to build a school in South Africa. And Madiba, even with his bad knees, jumped up out of his chair. He said, one day you'd like to build a school? You'd like to build a school? And I said, yes, one day I'd like to build a school. He got on the phone and he called the late Kata Osmo, who was the Minister of Education at the time. He didn't make one phone call, he made 3, because it just so happened it was a holiday and Kata Osmo was on vacation on a boat in Cape Town. Madiba said to Kata Osmo he wanted him to get off the boat immediately and come and meet with me. By that evening, I was sitting in a room with Kata Osmo. I really thought one day I would build a school. I didn't mean that day. But by the end of the day, I had started the dream to create the vision as I started to speak of the kind of school I wanted. And at first I said I would be willing to commit $10 million to building the school. And he said, well, you could build 5 schools with that. I said, well, not the kind of school I want to build. I want to build the kind of school that raises the bar for expectations for what a poor girl can be. Because I was a poor girl, growing up in a rural area with my grandmother. And it is only because somebody saw in me what I later saw in these girls that I am standing here today. I know that education is the door to freedom. So I want to do that for girls who come from backgrounds like my own, who have disadvantaged circumstances, but no disadvantaged attitudes or brain power or spirit. I want to give them the chance that I was given. And that's going to take more than $2 million per school. So we started this whole process, creating this dream, and I held the vision for this day. From the very first week that these girls arrived at school, I started talking about them walking across the stage, getting their diplomas in graduation and wearing white dresses, because I'd done a graduation speech at Wellesley years ago, and I'd seen the girls come in white dresses, and I thought, gee, that's a beautiful thing. I wish I'd had that kind of graduation. It was only last year, as we were approaching this matric year, that I said, well, we should start thinking about graduation ceremonies. I said in the board meeting to the board, and Ms. Van Zyl said, we don't do graduations. in South Africa. I go, we don't do graduations. Well, how are the girls going to wear the white dresses? So you all should know that this entire event is all about the white dresses. 13,000 kilometers away. You cannot accomplish anything without a winning team. You can't have a day of victory unless you have a winning team. Any school anywhere in the world is only as good as its teachers. Here at OWLAG, teachers are more than teachers. Teachers are nurturers, they're counselors, they're supporters, they're mothers. They are the family foundation for our girls. And without these teachers, this could not be a day of triumph. I'd like all the teachers who have come in early and left late, being here, giving what needed to be given in order that these girls might not just succeed, but soar and flourish. Will the teachers of this academy please stand? Bravo. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you. This is a unique school, taking girls from provinces all over South Africa, bringing them together. Girls who've come through, on average, 6 traumas by the time they reach the school. More traumas than most people endure in their entire lives, these girls have endured by the time they reach our doors. Divorce, violence, molestation, the loss of one parent, the loss of another parent, sorrow, sadness, grief. They come. And in order to support them, we need an entire team of not just teachers, administrators, psychologists, social workers. Because our parents, many of them, cannot come to our school because of their circumstances, we go to them. We have a team of social workers here. Not just a team of social workers and psychologists, but a team who has been to every home of every girl in this school. They have been in the home of 400 girls, communicating, talking, sharing with the parents. Will the psychologists and social workers please stand? Bravo. Bravo. Thank you. Timmy, thank you. Many a day, when you are raising one daughter, or 2 daughters, or 4 daughters, there are challenges. When there are 400, you can just imagine. A lot of drama sometimes. And girls need help, they need support. And when they go home, many of our girls, they don't have the support team of the teachers and the psychologists and everybody. And sometimes people get in trouble, girls get in trouble. And I remember standing in my apartment looking at the frozen lake one day in Chicago and getting a text message from one of our girls saying that she was in a violent situation in KwaZulu-Natal and calling on Timmy, not knowing what to do, calling the social worker at home and saying, listen, there's a girl in KwaZulu-Natal. Timmy, you were in Gauteng. I said, how long will it take you to get to KwaZulu-Natal today? Because we have a girl in trouble who needs you. And she said, I'm on my way, ma'am. And by that evening, she had gone to KwaZulu-Natal, gotten the girl out of the home and the violent situation, and found a shelter here in Gauteng for her. That's the kind of dedicated staff and committed social workers, psychologists, and team that we have. And without them, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you. I want to say a special thank you to Joy Moore, who was our deputy head. Joy, where are you? Joy Moore, who came here. Oh, there you are up there. Oh, there you are, Joy. Joy Moore, who was our deputy head for 4 years, who came from the United States when we were in the middle of our crisis, and stayed for 4 years, sacrificing her family, her husband, Rob, who's here with her today. allowing her husband and her mother to raise her 2 children while she was here to support ours. And Joy walked into this situation having helped to run one of the great girls' schools in the United States. But she'd never seen anything like this. She'd never been in an environment where almost every week somebody lost somebody they loved. And it was Joy's duty, once a week, twice a month, to go to a girl and to say, I am sorry, your mother has passed. I'm sorry, your father's gone. I'm sorry, your grandmother is no longer with us. I'm sorry, your brother was just shot. I'm sorry, we lost your aunt in an accident. Joy, thank you. Thank you for your heart, your soul. And then there's Anne Van Zyl. I thought I had lost my way with this school. And I remember coming here on a visit and sitting in Madiba's living room, and he told me not to give up. You must hold on to the vision. It takes time. And I thought I'd try one more time. And we had interviewed and interviewed and interviewed, and Anne Van Zyl arrived in the United States, and she sat before me and she said, you deserve to have your dream. You deserve to fulfill the vision, not just for you and for the girls, but for South Africa. You deserve to have your dream, and I promise I can help you reach it. Thank you for keeping your promise. Anne Van Zyl. And then I must say to every parent here, every grandmother, every mother, every father, every aunt, every uncle, every guardian who stepped in when somebody lost their mother or father or grandmother, you have raised remarkable girls. You have done your job so well that this school spends not a minute trying to discipline or bring order or to make sure girls behave or do their homework. We don't have to do that because you have done your job so well. You have raised some remarkable girls, and we thank you for trusting us, for believing that we could honor what you've already started with your families. Will the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the guardians, the support for these girls, would you all stand so that we can give you a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. And then I must say to you, my darling daughters, this is your day. Last night, we had our pajama party, and I brought the tape to show them of the first interviews that they did. Some of them looked like little boys coming in the room. And even they could see, as I could see at the time during the interviews, they were wild-eyed, filled with wonder and expectation. Grateful for the opportunity, but not even quite knowing what the opportunity was. They came here, happy to be here, then homesick, then scared. I remember finding one of our, I won't say the name, sitting out under a tree, crying one day, the first week of school. And I said, why are you crying? And she said, Mom Oprah, I was always number 1 in my school. And now I'm only number 12. That was a big, big, big adjustment for our girls, because as we went from village to townships and many schools, choosing the girls, I was looking for girls who had the desire, but not the means. And most of those girls were either number 1 or number 2 or had some outstanding achievement in their schools. And then when they got here, they realized, oh, other people also have been number 1 in their schools. So that was a big adjustment. But what we have done at this school and what they have done for themselves is open up the possibilities for who they could be. This school hasn't just taught academics, and it wasn't just about passing the matric, although we all knew that was important. But we are in the leadership building business. We are in the business of creating assets for girls so they don't have to just use their bodies, but they go out into the world and use their minds, and more importantly, have an identity that fulfills the vision of themselves and their creator. We want every girl to leave here knowing who she is. And that is what has happened. Each of you has blossomed into the best possible you could be at this moment. And I have never been more proud to know, to grow, and to call myself Mom Oprah to you girls. I am one proud mama today. And as you move into the world, I would just hope that you would know that you are smart, not just smart. You are brilliant, inside and out. And I have been more pleased with the graciousness and the kindness and the loving spirit of each of these girls than even their academics, because this school was founded on the principle of Ubuntu. I am because we are. And everything that has happened here has happened because of Ubuntu. Every time a girl accomplishes, achieves, is able to have some level of success, every girl shares in that success as though it were her own. The spirit of Ubuntu has allowed us to not just to build a school, but to create a foundation, a family foundation that supports these girls in being the best that they can be while they're here, and the best that they can become. I'm grateful to everybody who has allowed this to be possible. This is a day that fills me with overwhelming pride. I've been on a mission my whole life to give back what has been given to me. Today, I get to see the fulfillment of that mission in white dresses. And for everybody who thought when we started the school that we would not flourish, that we would not continue, that it would not work, that we were going to be creating a group of elitist girls, they didn't understand that this wasn't just about building a school. For me, it's not just about the classes and the classrooms. It is an investment in leadership. It's an investment in knowing that this class will prove that when you invest in the leadership of girls, you invest in the leadership of a nation. Because every one of these girls is going to serve herself, her family, her community, and this country in ways that are yet to amaze you. Just wait to be amazed by these girls. In the words of Maya Angelou, when you see them coming, it ought to make you proud. It's in the click of their heels. It's in the bend of their hair. It's in the palm of their hands. It's in the need for their care, because they are phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal women. That's who you are.